It's like DK can really have a lot of fun with this draft, I'll just say that.
Showmaker has also been leaning into the insanity. He's been a player that has had to struggle performing consistently. We'll see if he can finally get back to his heydays, right? We're talking 2021, 2020, when the guy was the best mid laner in the LCK. See if he can get back to those days. As we do have, I imagine, a Vi ban to come through, but no, it's the Pantheon instead, which is Showmaker. I think a warranted response. I feel like the Pantheon was good, but it didn't necessarily feel like that was the issue. The Zillion combo was obviously really nuts, but yeah, this Lucid ban specifically feels like it's low on the list between the Nidalee, the Vi, and all the other things we've seen banned against it.
Yeah, I don't really think you have to do this, but it is fearless. You know, maybe they pick this away for now, and it might change up in the bans for Game 2. The Cassante gets banned, which I think that Cassante, in general, still a very strong first pick, so it shows they don't want to play it. But there's an Ezreal ban, and that's not Skarner, and that's really the main problem. Lucid is just so happy.
I didn't even mention the Skarner because it was kind of, that was kind of a given. That was supposed to be banned. Not going to be the case here. We'll see what the answer is that BNK has had. The Cassante ban, I like. I do think that Clear has not been able to live up to the expectations that he set for himself at the end of last year, where I do think he really started to become a solid top laner within the context of the LCK. Has looked pretty shaky thus far. Hoping to see him bounce back here on a pick that he has looked very comfortable in the past. The Rumble can come through. And Bessa also going the way of DK. DK have been very consistently drafting champions that can go different directions. So this Ambassa could theoretically also still go mid. I would be thinking that they're going to lock in an AD carry here to maintain the question as to where this Ambassa is going to go, which will make the draft a lot harder. The Leona falls within the same idea of picking up a bot lane here or in a support is going to not give away anything just yet. And the Vi is thus available, but it's like, are you really going to be feeling good playing Vi into Skarner? I don't think so.
Yeah, I mean, especially when you're looking at the 3 picks that we see on the side of D plus Kia, those aren't exactly fantastic picks that you want to pick off, right? I would assume that there are some squishies that eventually do get drafted here, an AD carry for aiming, and then you can just kind of press your R buttons with the Vi and the Rumble and really just blow them up, and especially from ahead, that can be very strong when you've got a Lethality Varus to follow it up. But yeah, in terms of that matchup, maybe not very happy. The Sylas is banned. It feels so hard to ban specifically against DK. You just never know what they're going to pick.
Yeah, you don't. It is really hard to lock down the champion pools for these guys. For BNK, as mentioned, the Skarner given over is definitely a huge gamble that they're taking, but they are drafting a BNK comp, and that's always good to see. Whenever they kind of shy away from this dive-heavy style, I do think that we collectively go, well, maybe next game, because it does feel like that is the style that they love to play, and particularly with how Diablo has been performing, I think that's very warranted. The LeBlanc ban, classic Showmaker ban, because he keeps performing on the champion, even though, as far as 2v2s goes, Skarner is as good as he is, no Lee, no Pantheon, these other champions that we see that obviously provide a really big 2v2 threat. Still, that DK is going to look towards getting themselves some AP here, but what that's going to be still remains to be seen. Is the Akali taken away? Maybe looking at like Azir here?
Oh boy. Azir.
Yone has also still made it through. They can go Yone Ziggs actually. Wait, oh boy, yeah. With that Akali ban, Yone Ziggs for DK if it's not picked up here for BK, but they can't really fit it in anywhere, so it's probably going to be support here.
Yeah. It's looking like a Rakan pick. Renata Glass will be selected. I mean, there are a lot of melee champions on the other side that will be in your face. Not the Corki, please. That does not inspire joy for us. The 0 and 9 Corki. DK, though, they definitely are a team that plays against the grain, and maybe they will just pick it to try to get the first win.
Aiming is also one of the guys. Okay, there we go. Aiming is also one of the guys that has played the AD Corki which I think I like more than mid lane Corki. I still don't love it, but feels like there at least you sometimes are able to get some early action going and then go from there. Now, we don't have a mid laner picked up yet here. What does Showmaker want to blind? Can go for either AP or AD. Doesn't want to blind the Yone, which is, I think, what I was expecting. Instead goes for the Ahri here. Still comfort for him. Does leave them pretty heavy on the magic damage, so a lot of damage is going to have to be done here by Xiu, and the value of Mercs for BNK through the roof.
And because the Corki wasn't picked by DK...
Vika, don't do it. Yeah, that's better.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's great.
I mean, they have Rumble, you know. It provides great follow-up on what they want to do, which is, you know, press some R buttons and attack a single target. Ideally the Ziggs, or even the Ahri, if you can blow it up fast enough.
Yeah, the Ahri doesn't really do it for me. Now, Showmaker has really struggled on the Yone, so that might also be one of the reasons why they don't want to pick it there. But it does feel like the setup was there to go for either a stronger AD threat or something like the set, but you can't really blind that, so I understand. DK in a bit of an awkward position. The drop here for BNK, I think it's quite good, right? You have a really strong dive combo, then you have the most likely lethality Varus is just going to layer his damage on top of that. The Renata feels a little bit out of sorts. I don't think you're generally feeling great when you're playing the Renata into the Ziggs in particular, so we'll see how Kellen is going to be able to manage that. But Renata ults can always have a lot of value. There is a lot of short-range characters on the DK.
Yeah, definitely a lot of stuff there. I think that aiming certainly has a lot to do. The rest of his team is kind of like, okay, we're going to catch you, we're going to hold you in place, we're going to set up CC chains, and we're going to be in their face. And aiming just has to play safe, stay in the back, do the majority of the damage. Because besides the Ziggs, there isn't, you know, a crazy amount. They have Mbessa and Ahri, but it's not going to be through the roof. Whereas certainly a lot of damage here on the side of BNK Fear X.
There's not that much tankiness though, so whoever wins early, I think it's going to look good, Valdez.
Well, that's the way it goes. Let's hop into the rift for game number 1. Hey, level 1. Let's go spawn a Rudeness Otacon. Why don't we?
Again, it has to be these two teams.
You know, I thought maybe BNK versus, who was it, KT? Yeah, they had a match that win 3 games, and I was like, huh, maybe.
That would also be, but it depends on what KT you get on the day, I think is the problem.
I mean, they lost game 2 to BNK.
Yeah.
So we were like, oh, it is the KT, but they weren't exactly throwing hard enough, let's say.
No, it wasn't that bloodthirsty either.
So maybe this time, but no level 1 kill, which is unfortunate. I'm curious about this matchup. You know, Showmaker's Ahri definitely very strong.
Yeah, I'm just that's Ahri in reverse, right? I'm not crazy. Isn't it normally the other way around?
Yeah. I think it's probably but the grasp is not reversed, right?
No, it's not.
Wait.
But wait, the fleet on the other end is. Is this a mid laner pact? What's happened? What did they mean by this?
What did they mean by this?
That's crazy.
Why? It was even reversed on the bottom. Did you see?
No, I did. Yeah, on both. That's a question that we're gonna save for a rainy day, because we're not gonna get the time to talk about. These two teams are definitely gonna fight a lot.
So this item is well, it's passed. It's passed away. So,
yeah.
Yes. Rip in pepperonis. Unending despair. Because
the despair is over. You know, like we all took the lesson from playing Danganronpa, and we're no longer leaning into despair. We're all about hope.
So what happened was there was a bad interaction, and so it is banned for now.
If I remember correctly, it was a challengers match, and yeah, Unending Despair kept despairing unendingly. Particularly the interaction with Renata, so that is no longer going to be available. As we do have a lot of damage here early on. Kellen and Diablo trading aggressively as they should in the 2v2. And he does have TP, so I don't think he's going to be too bothered about all of this. Just wants to get through the laning phase and gets his first item. We also have Ox today, so I'm sure, I don't think we have to mention his item build. I'm sure we'll get a nice segment.
There he is. He's right there.
He's right there.
You can see him. He's there on the left, sitting.
He's not paying attention, actually. Unbelievable.
Wait, you can't see him?
Wait, you can see him?
He's right there. Degon and Wadded. They're sitting there at the space. We even got the wide shot. They're all there. Are you okay, Chronicler?
Maybe I'm not. It's Scuttle Crab being taken here.
Okay, got it.
That was fine. Yeah, the hitbox on the rock can feel a little bit iffy. It's Kellen. Nicely done there. Forces the flash out with the handshake. And I don't know if they want to go for an early dive, but it's at the very least going to force out the TP. So DK put on the back foot here early on.
Yeah. That's the thing about the Ziggs. I mean, you always take the TP, so even if your early laning phase is generally rough, you know, once you get a couple of levels in Q, once you begin to clear waves a little bit better, you can just TP back. You've got, you know, a tier now, which he's going to pick up early. We'll see if he does build that into a Seraphs. I feel like this is a team where it's not a bad idea to build a Seraphs just because there are so many threats and you might just want that extra bit of safety, which might impact his DPS a little bit later on, especially in the mid-game. But for now, we'll see where he does go with that one. Just goes back, buys a refillable as well. Just making sure that he can stay alive.
TP for Showmaker also used here early on. Shu being toasted a little bit, and the early laning phase looking pretty good. Also, we haven't noticed this yet, haven't talked about it yet, but Diablo is actually going for the on-hit variety of the Varus, which we have not seen, I think, at all in the LCK thus far. I'm pretty sure it's been only the lethality variety with either Comet or Hail of Blades. This is what I'm talking about, Valdez. I'm seeing TPs towards the bot lane. We have Shu making his way over. We are not handshaking. Wait, maybe you are handshaking objectives.
We're handshaking objectives. We're not fighting. And they're giving the Ocean Drake to BNK.
So most likely going to then play for grubs with the swap. But BNK are going to easily be able to match.
Yeah, also this is not a very fun lane, especially when clear is level 6 and aiming is level 4. So entire team, though, is roaming up. We'll see what the contest looks like on the grubs.
Oh, there's a nice ward there in the jungle entrance that gives BNK a lot of info. Also not going to be generally spotted as easily. I don't think it's actually marked. Can Raptor steal one? He has Smite available. Would be a big win. Teleport coming in from Clear. That's level 6 available for Vikla and Clear. Will DK actually contest or just give these up? And this is kind of the problem. As good as the Skarner is, with the Ahri, generally you want to try and contest these early objectives, but do not looking too hot. Aiming is still level 5 as well, so BNK taking some big leads with the early objectives. Not getting the sandals, though, because they were not able to get all the grubs. Lucid did still one.
Yeah. No sandals. That's okay. Just gonna work on that a little bit. Aiming very far behind his opponent, who is the Varus Diablo, who's just kind of been posted up in mid lane.
This wave state is also pretty dire, and Ziggs can farm relatively safe. A lot of this goes back to that flash not being available. Because if he had flash, I think he can step forward a lot more. And Clear is just keeping the lane here. Like, they know that Kellen is still in the area.
Yeah, I mean, they just don't have any vision. You can see BNK is trying to deny it, right? They're coming in here, they're pushing them out of the river, so they don't know if they're getting ganked. So, yes, Ziggs can throw bombs from afar, but I think he was able to throw one. He got up to 50 CS, and that was it. And the lane is still stuck.
And now they're going to, I guess she was going to pay the price instead, as he will now make his way towards the top side. BNK is actually playing this quite smart.
Is BNK a strong team?
This is my expectation for BNK, if they were able to do a good job in this match, would be because they will just outfight DK the way that they did against Gen G. But then instead, It's nothing crazy though, but it is still an early lead for BNK, and it's not even like their scaling is that poor. Plenty of champions on their team have a lot of impact for basically the entirety of the game.
Yeah. I think it's also funny, I was like, yeah, I haven't been a big fan of their drafting over the years, and then they draft like one of the best BNK comps I've ever seen. I'm like, wow. That's
yeah,
interesting timing to draft really well right after I mentioned that I didn't really like their drafting. But yeah, this is pretty good so far. I mean, it's still early. We don't know how this is going to play out. I think DK's mind at the moment is just, okay, sit back, farm it out, get aiming as fed as possible. Showmaker's farming really well as well. He's got the most CS in the game at this point in time. So even though there hasn't been any kills, it does feel like DK are keeping up. They've got a small deficit when it does come to the gold, mostly in the AD carry department, the awesome dude department, as we do have a Ziggs. So yeah, just waiting for that next contest. I wonder what's going to happen here on this next dragon. Nice charm by Showmaker.
We're not getting the Otacon in this game, by the way, everyone. I just want to say
really?
sorry for not managing expectations well. Barrels here was actually looking to go in, but then I think they spotted Raptor on that ward and was like, no, I don't want to run the risk of that. Shiu takes a great trade against Clear, but still not going to see too much. And for DK, you have Skarner and you have Ziggs. So if you get to the late game, your team fighting is going to be completely disgusting. The ability, particular, to use your Impale to keep people still so that Ziggs can just ult, is always something that is going to be very highly valued. BNK thus far looking good if they can get a second dragon. Maybe get towards these grubs as well. Start setting up for defeats. Not looking too bad.
Yeah. The feats of strength, as was mentioned on our pre-show, which you should have watched. If you weren't here for the pre-show, you missed W2D dancing on his stream, his co-stream of the LEC that he does. Was very funny. Was a great time. Also included Degon and Ox, who were present, and also did a good job.
Well, I didn't see them do a cool Nidalee impression, so let's not give them too much praise.
It's not quite the same. But yeah, feats of strength. About two-thirds of the time you get the win when you get feats of strength. So you put yourself in a pretty good spot. If you're winning the early game, you're picking up these objectives, you're getting the feats of strength, and you're getting ahead.
It really does feel more so like if you are getting objectives, you're most likely doing well. Is Shield just going in?
Yeah, and Mbessa really doesn't care about Rumble ults. He just kind of dashes away. It doesn't really amount to a lot, but they trade ults and Shield gets ahead. So, you know, in terms of Clear going down or anything like that, they're not going to get a kill, but it's still a nice trade that goes to the Mbessa. Clear also has TP. Cloud Rift, when Atlas is not here. The chains are going to land, and Beryl might be in a bit of trouble, but he is Leona that has flash, so yeah, they don't really overcommit to that. Aiming was already out of the way. Saw it coming a mile away. And we continue to have no first blood.
The restraint from BNK, I think, was warranted there, because Clear just TP'd the top, so there was a play there where if they over-invest onto the Leona, obviously has Eclipse as well as Aftershock, then Shiu can TP behind. They can do a lot of damage, and yeah, as you point out, aiming was also in a fine spot. The clip's now done here for Shiu, same for Clear and his Leandries. Shiu, the big win of that earlier play is just that he didn't have to use his teleport, so does go for that ultimate just to force the summoner. We'll see if DK can turn that into anything. As you point out, it is the Cloud Rift, as we have Rageblade first. Not seen that in a very long time.
A hot minute.
Yeah, a lot of minutes, actually. It's going on hit.
Is this like a Challengers thing? Like, you know, Bull used to do this all the time with the on-hit Varus. And especially in Challengers, if you're playing on-hit Varus, you do like 5 autos and die. And that's kind of your job because it's so aggressive and there's so many dive champs that get picked.
Yeah, this
it's
is
like insane.
I know that there are tanks on the enemy team, which makes you go, you want to play the on-hit variety because it does a lot better job of dealing with tanks.
Yeah.
But then you look at the other threats, and like both Mbessa Ari and Ziggs just kind of ruin your day if you need to get into auto attack range. So we'll see what Diablo's able to do. I'm sure he's going to flash in.
Yeah, I mean, the thing is, I feel like they have enough damage from the rest of their champs, right? So I feel like if he just layered a bit of lethality onto the right target, that would have been enough. Instead, now he has to get into melee range and most of the time just die.
I also like having the incredibly reduced cooldown for the ultimate, because they don't actually have that much, like they have the Vial, which obviously is really good, but is a one-way ticket. So having another tool available consistently, I think could be nice, as BigCloud does a good job. Clears the wave, ensures that there will be no diving in. How is DK versus BNK gonna be one of the slowest first bloods we've had so far? That's not right.
The slowest first blood, we've already passed it here at the LCK
It is
Cup.
the slowest.
Yes, this is the slowest so far. The slowest before it was Lucid against Faker, getting first blood in that game 2 of T1 versus DK. That was 12 minutes and 52 seconds. So we passed it. It's still very early in the LCK Cup, so I feel like this makes sense. But it doesn't really feel right for the meta, right? It's been very snowbally, quite aggressive, a lot of teams fighting over the objectives. We had both grub fights, no big team fight or anything like that. We had both Drakes just given over for free. Nobody's able to get a big enough lane lead to go for a turret or anything, and the lane swaps never really stuck in this game at least. So I feel like it's kind of just led to a little bit of stagnation this time around.
Yeah, I'm just confused because of these two teams.
Yeah,
and
that's fair.
The aggression has been a trademark for both of them. Herald is spawning in about a minute and a half, so don't expect there to be too much action, but there might be a good amount of setup as, again, Lucid walks over a reward. I'd be looking for a collapse here.
Oh yeah, they're going big time, but he pulls him out of the solar flare. Might not matter, but he is able to get away from the Ziggs. Raptor totally fine, the handshake getting him in. The equalizer is terrible, but they might still be able to get something going on a Lucid. Skarner! He's so incredibly tanky. Showmaker getting the kill in the backline as well, make it a double, and Showmaker finds the right angle, and they only have to pay Barrel for the 2 kills on Showmaker.
First blood is going to BNK, so they are close to Sandals now, Valdez, but DK still get the better end of that trade. A double kill going over to Showmaker, and even with a little bit of anti-synergy at the beginning there, and there wasn't really that much damage when they started to go for that, which I think is why it was a bit messy. We do see DK be the first one to really pull the trigger. So Barrel sets this up really nicely. Then there, I think missing the damage on that solar flare is actually a pretty big deal. You see Showmaker tries to look for the TP, but Diablo actually does a pretty good job of keeping him away. And then this is the problem where part of the team is trying to go for Lucid, but if Vikla also just focuses on keeping his backline safe, if they're a little bit less disjointed, then Showmaker also can't just go in and pop Diablo. So the split fight leads with a lot of damage going into the tanks in Lucid and Barrel, leads to DK having the opportunity to win that one. Nothing crazy, not a runaway win by any means, but does mean that now on a single objective, BNK will get... Oh, it misses.
Yeah, Shu kind of in an awkward spot. There's 3 people here. He's got to go up against them. Is Ambessa OP enough is really the question. So far, the answer is yes. Oh, the flash! Perfectly timed. Shiwu gets away. You can't touch him. Amazing.
If he didn't miss that ult, that would have been as well played as you reasonably. That's 3 people that he drew there, and they're not even going to be able to get the turret. Buys time on the rest of the map. Now, I do have to note that there have been no turrets taken yet with a Ziggs in the game, which is very not okay. Just want to highlight that.
I thought maybe they were going to stick around here. I mean, they saw the 2 people backing in top. I thought they could have pressured this turret, but they don't see anyone else and maybe don't want to take 3v3. They want to get their 3rd objective here. And if they pick up the Rift Herald and they get the turret with it, they can sneak away the feats of strength right under the noses of BNK, but BNK do not want to let that one happen. They are trying to fight for this one. Showmaker, the handshake goes on a Lucid, that's a Skarner! You don't want him closer to your team! And he's just gonna go down. Vikla, no hope for him! And down will go the Rift Herald in favor of DK. Beryl, he sacrifices himself. He wants to continue the fight, and that he will. 3 kills go over to DK. They want more. Kellen will go down as well. Will they pick up the ace is the only question left. Clear, he survives under the turret, but man, a huge swing in favor of DK comes through.
They even get the Herald, Valdez, as you point out. Showmaker somehow ends up getting that one.
Beats.
Speeds now. The sandals for DK. We see the upgrade come through there. And the BNK comp is exceptional at taking down a single target. But that target cannot be the Skarner! Lucid takes Vikla with him, and that's already the rest of BNK fighting a 4 versus 5. Showmaker with a beautiful flash charm there on the Abel. Doesn't get the flash off. But to be fair, even if he does, this fight is already cooked. The moment that Lucid grabs Vikla there,
yeah.
And you either have to be ready to, because I think maybe like Raptor ults Showmaker, but the problem is as long as Skarner is there, like the dive is just not going to work. So BNK bite off way more than they can chew.
Also the flash engage Renata onto Skarner.
Oh, the handshake. Yeah, no, I mean you already meant that's not. Yeah.
I mean, I feel like Kellen, he was very excited after his Alistair performance for a good reason. And now he's playing Renata. Renata in this comp, which you mentioned during the draft, is kind of like the outlier. Everybody else wants to go in. She's like, okay, I'll wait for the enemy team to go in. And Kellen's trying to do his best, but like a handshake on the Skarner is literally like it's a negative play. It just doesn't do anything. As here comes the Rift Heralds. Clear. There's 5 people, 4 people here. And he is just Omega dead. No way for him to get out. And at least Vikla trades a turret, but we might get another charge here. Seems unlikely with how low the Rift Herald is, and they will just back away.
And Kellen actually has historically been one of our best Renatas. It's a champion that in the past we would actually criticize for picking it too often, for going towards it even when it doesn't make sense. In this comp, as you point out, it's a little bit disjointed, but I don't mind it because the 2v2 strength is obviously crazy as we saw. Plus there are a lot of short-range champions on DK. Trying to hard first de-engage though, unfortunately still doesn't work out, as you pointed out. And now we do have the Voracious Otacon on the Rift. I think DK can just start it up and then take the fight. Right now they are looking amazing. Do have Showmaker very far ahead of the curve. By far the biggest gold lead, has been playing amazing in these fights. Yeah. And the Skarner is only going to get worse and worse to play into. Like, it's not going to get better.
Yeah, I mean, he only has the Heartsteel, and he's got a Chain Vest. Like, he's barely even getting started, right? Like, he is going to be incredibly tanky. They don't quite have the damage to get through that Skarner, unless Diablo has, like, maybe, like, 15 to 20 seconds with him? Then I'd say maybe. Let's see if this ult lines up, or if he even goes for it. Looks like no. Just waiting for the wave to be pushed in. But yeah, I do agree with you. I think they could have just set up for the Otacon and just said, okay, come at us and see what happens. We have a Cloud Drake spawning, and I do think that Cloud Soul itself could be very useful for both of these teams. So it does feel like we want to fight over this on both sides.
I can't believe Barrel's not just walking in. I mean, he shouldn't, but, it's Barrel.
Yeah.
Has been playing, I think, amazing this game so far. Every engage hitting the mark. DK take control, walk through mid. Well, they really easily get Prio with the Ziggs as well. As BNK, this is, I think, the final opportunity you're going to get. You need to get on top of aiming or Showmaker if you want to win this fight. TPing in off to the side, but can they actually get backline access? I don't know, Valdez. It's going to be a tough one.
Yeah, it is going to be pretty rough. You see that Vikla's already marked. Like, they see him clearing waves in mid. And so Beryl and Showmaker just say, okay, we'll target the Yone. Vikla actually doing a good job going straight up the mid lane, but you can see that BNK really struggling to get near this. The equalizer hits the dragon, as now they land the solar flare on Kellen. He is just popped like a balloon, and down will go Diablo as well. This is just a disaster for BNK, and DK is not a team to back down from disaster. They're going in. They want to take them all down. Raptor will be the last one left, and down he goes. It is a clean ace, a huge stomp in the team fight.
Yawning Teemo from Showmaker as they bop them in the fight. Clean ace for DK. They get the dragon, they get the fight, completely unbothered, and they're just calling the bluff. They're like, okay, so Vikla can't walk up. I don't know if they spotted Raptor, but it doesn't matter. Without the Vi, there's no opportunity, and it is the combo there onto Kellen. Like the ult kind of whiffs, doesn't hit anything. Then he gets marked by free ultimate, just dies immediately. And without that Renata, there is no safety for the rest of the team whatsoever. Disjointed from BNK and clean from DK. And this game, Valdez, it might be a little bit of time before the Nexus falls, but that Voracious Otacon is gone soon, and I think these structures are going to keep crumbling for BNK.
Yeah, it's a 10 out of 10 on the overscale, we could say at this point. As BNK, Kellen going to be caught again. The Celestial opposition is just a joke at this point. Vikla, he is going to hop back, and here comes Skarner. And Lucid is just running into four of them. He is tanking the equalizer like he doesn't care about anything. Certainly not the Rumble. Vikla desperate to do anything. The flats on in for the return on the orb. Showmaker really showcasing his Ahri prowess. It's kind of insane. The lineup so close from Xiwu.
They're still going!
And they're still going, because why not? You know, they don't even have the Otacon buff. They don't need the Otacon buff. And they're just going to take them all down. Xiwu, he survives as well. The fans are absolutely just loving it, as every time they get a kill, Lol Park does explode, and now they'll go for Otacon.
Yeah, Showmaker sitting on a 25 sticks Magi Atlas, or Valdez. He is popping off.
Yes, that's me.
I don't know where that came from. As we take another look here, BNK just desperately trying to get anything going, but it is not meant to be. Diablo, as we kind of suspected, does not get to auto anyone at any point. The on-hit unfortunately not working out. Really nice done by Showmaker to get the return damage on the orb. And then Xiwu just tanking this turret and it not mattering, even with him missing an ult, is just deeply funny. Raptor tries his best, but there's just not enough damage, not enough items. And they did play like they had the Voracious Otacon. Are they just not going to pick it up? Like, yeah, we don't need this buff. It's fine. Just play like we do.
I mean, they could also just take Baron. And maybe they could just take both. And then you're really just able to do whatever you want. They're just going to go in and look for kills instead. They're like, you know what? We had a very late first blood. Let's just stack up the kills. And yeah, the equalizer's just kind of...
There's no damage!
Just kind of pathetic at this point. I mean, at least he kind of hit them a little bit. Like, it just really doesn't inspire much joy, that response, you know, after DK overextend. They're like, we gotta do something, we gotta force a fight, and it's just like the most flimsy equalizer, and they just walk away.
How much AP does Showmaker have?
Yes.
640, Valdez.
Yeah, he's playing Veigar.
At 26 minutes!
Ahri skin. Oh, that's Satchel. Pretty nice. Going to force the flash here to clear with the follow-up. And, yeah, I mean, the Raptor can't get away. He doesn't have flash, so he has to go in. At this point, you know, it's just desperation. Like, they can't do anything. He can't vault away. Clear's going to die. This is just absolutely Omega stop. And they still don't have the Otacon, and they just don't care at all. They're looking to push down mid, I guess. Maybe they'll just end the game.
Might as well. Don't need the buff. Don't need Baron. Showmakers.
Look at him.
You're still playing the game. You're not dead. Don't take your hands off the keyboard.
He's just angry that they're not respawning fast enough so he can get more kills. That sounds like Showmaker.
That was a pen opportunity if I've ever seen one. Can't believe they didn't give it to him.
And guys, the game is just over. 27 minutes. The kill score 22-3. And they're not done. They're looking for a bit more. They'd love to get this kill on a Raptor. The equalizer again, just pathetic. Down will go the Nexus, 23-3, the final kill score. And man, Showmaker putting on the show. He makes it. That's what he does. And DK are saying that, okay, this team is just no match for us.